Welcome to the Networking with Michelle podcast, the show dedicated to providing you with life strategies with a little bit of entrepreneur advice. Here we believe in the Jim Rohn quote, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Hey everyone, welcome to the Networking with Michelle show. I'm your host, Michelle Gomez. Wanted to come in and say welcome. Thank you and welcome to episode 200. I have made it. It is official. Man, it's been a journey. It has been an experience. I'm grateful. That's it. Like simply put, I am grateful to get to this point. I've been pushing episodes very hard lately because I wanted to wrap up in style. I wanted to conclude this show in style. I wanted to conclude on a high note, right? A high note, the best note, a Whitney note. You know what I'm talking about? But no regrets. No regrets. And there has been moments when I was like, man, I can podcast forever. And I'm not afraid of podcasts, but I think sometimes you have to let things go on a high note and just be free, like free mentally. You know, I'm all about freeing that mental space. No guilt, you know, just free. Like it feels good. It feels good to come to an episode 200, episode of completion, and not just, you know, on episode 17 and I just stop recording. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand life happens because I've taken many breaks since I've started. But it feels good to make a decision and end in the right way. I'm not going to leave y'all hanging like girlfriends. You know, I think we all a little salty about that. I know Black is doing something, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, but I'm grateful. Also, my friend Justyn, I love this brother. Great guy, great energy. He interviews me. This is probably the realest conversation I've ever had on this show. Now, when we talk about transparency, I play all out in this episode, right? I think there's just been things that have been brought to my attention. I feel like I addressed it on this episode. This is a relationship episode as well, right? And I've done several relationship episodes in the past, networking and dating. I brought in Eliza and Ebony from Melanin and Mental Health, talk about relationships because they're both therapists and all this kind of stuff. But I've never inserted myself. And on this episode, I talk about myself, right? So you're in for a treat. I do want to let you know there's cursing in this episode, a lot of cursing. It's been a while since I listened to this episode too. I listened to it twice. We recorded this late August. I think late August. So it's been a while as well. But once again, I was just pushing to get to 200. So we're finally here. So without further ado, sexuality, situationships, and all that other shit. Hey, good people. Welcome to the Networking with Michelle show. I have a special guest with a special episode as we close out with the bang. Before we get started, I do want to let you know there will be a lot of profanity in this episode. So if you have any kids, you know, this is not the episode you want to listen to with them in the car. So you may want to stop now. This is the disclaimer. And I don't even know what we're going to say yet, but this is how I'm feeling as I record on a Saturday afternoon. Okay. So you probably don't want to listen to this at work either, because you won't get any work done. So this is an episode you want to listen to when you're in the car by yourself. Maybe you just want to be by yourself with some earphones. Okay. So basically anything and everything that you ever wanted to know about Michelle Gomez outside of business, this is the episode. This is possibly a farewell bonus episode as well. So as we get started, I have my good friend, Doctor.
Oh, not yet. Trust me, you will know when it's official. Everyone will know.
Justyn Smith, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great on this Saturday afternoon. You got me in front of this microphone, even though I tell all my friends I don't want to be in front of a microphone. I don't want to be recorded. Yet they all get me in front of these things to do stuff.
Because you're good for it.
but I don't enjoy it. At least I say I don't enjoy it, but I end up doing it. So maybe really deep down, I do like to do it. That's just going therapy level deep already. But
Okay. So why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
All right. So I'm Justyn Smith. I'm a licensed professional counselor here in Texas. I've been doing therapy now this is my 6th year being a therapist in all different settings. Now in a college setting, which I'm loving. And then I do different community things just to stay involved and connected. It's good for my heart and my soul and gives me joy to be connected to different avenues outside of the office. So I end up doing podcasts and interviews and recordings and things and being recorded. So what I end up doing.
And what are some of the organizations you're with?
Right now, I'm Director of Operations for Impulse Group Houston, which we focus on sex education, things like HIV, LGBTQ community. Also, Director of Operations for Melanin Mental Health, which is one of those great organizations that does programming, education, and more visibility around mental health with people of color on both sides of the couch, whether you're a clinician of color or a person of color. Working in an area when it comes to mental health, just kind of breaking down the stereotypes and stigma and normalizing going to therapy. And therapy is dope, as it's been coined by my great friends. And then what else am I involved in right now? Also the Mayor's Board, doing different work in the Houston community, spreading pride all over Houston, which is the tagline. So it's been great, being that I'm not from Houston, being here. I think this is my 4th year in Houston, that I've made some great connections, whether it be professional, personal, different community organizations. So it's been good stuff.
Good. I'm happy for you. And I enjoy our friendship.
I do too. And I like how you put this warning out. Are there ratings for podcasts, like podcast TV, like podcast mature?
Well, explicit.
Oh, really?
I'm going to mark this episode as explicit. I marked a few episodes in the past as explicit. And it's usually when I'm doing my rants, because I be having so much, probably haven't recorded in a while. And then I just, oral diarrhea, then it's good night, y'all. And I end up sleeping very peacefully.
And I'm out.
Right. So, no, I love the podcast because it's one of those things where I could keep it going because I have definitely evolved over the years, and I've been able to share what I feel a lot of the experiences through the podcast. However, and I've done other relationship episodes throughout the years, but I think it's always been kind of vague. I never really put myself out there. Okay. So I think this episode, I'm fully putting myself out there.
Kind of staying in the gray.
Yeah.
As we talked about.
Yeah, that's probably been my whole life though. So we'll dive into it, but we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm being interviewed and I have no idea what to expect. So, but this is it. So let's go.
All right. So for today, like you said, going out, getting to know you on a personal level and get to the listeners and all the questions that they've had or maybe have asked to themselves or wondered. I hope I do your listeners proud today and get them what they want to hear. So today we're going to focus on culture, sexuality within professional and personal brands. I know you do a lot of work in marketing and branding.
Yes.
It's your expertise. It's your thing. Never have a quick question. I'm shooting you a text like, what is this? And I know you do great work around that. But now it's you're kind of shifting of where am I on a personal brand? How do I want to convey that to my built audience? Because you want to be genuine with your people. This is who I am.
Right.
Take it.
Yeah.
So let's start with the cultural piece first.
Okay.
I feel like most people probably know, but just so we have let's lay a foundation.
Okay.
So what is your cultural background?
My parents are from Cameroon. Okay. So I say I'm a Cameroon American. Okay. Parents are from Cameroon. I was born in America, in the States. And in just the past maybe 2 years, I've been saying Cameroon American. I put the flag on my social media outlets.
Oh, I see it.
So people can know. And I really did that recently. I wish I thought about it earlier, but just overall maturity, age and maturity. I just feel like there needs to be a distinction between the African diaspora. Specifically, folks need to know that Nigeria is not the only country in Africa, because that's something that has always made me upset. And it's like, oh, Gome, oh, you're Nigerian, you're from or if I say, is it African? Yeah, I'm African. Oh, you're not? No, like Africa is a continent.
Yeah, that's a big misconception. And people, I even hear like TV shows. I'm like, the way people refer to Africa is like it's a country. I'm like, no.
Right. It's a continent with about 50 countries.
Oh, geography is not much.
Yeah, like 50-ish, 52-ish countries, similar to America or whatever. So that's the main reason why, Cameroon, everything.
Now, why do you think more countries get more limelight? Like, why do people think only Nigeria?
They just have a dominant presence. I think it's probably one of the wealthy, richest countries in Africa. Obviously, it's by the coast. So if you think of import, export between Africa and the U.S., and then people, obviously, Nigerians just populating major cities in America. And I think now, as a 30-something-year-old, you can kind of see their reign, right? You see them in our entertainment. You see them in our sports. You're starting to see them like dominating in every field. Before it was like, education, doctor, pharmacist, accountant. But now you're seeing truly the global presence of Nigerians and other Africans.
And do you think when those people do get into these positions, these roles, these being dominant, do you think they're putting that flag out there and being very vocal about their identity?
Yeah, and I think, and that's the thing, right? Nigerians are very proud and very vocal. Therefore, I think it's easy to assume every African is Nigerian because you always hear them speak and their chest is out. And I commend them, but I do get frustrated where people are just not politically correct, are saying, oh, you're Nigerian, or which country, what part of Africa, and even it's just so much shit with that. Even growing up, I remember I'm like, oh, I'm from Cameroon, West Africa, technically Central Africa, but I'll say West Africa next to Nigeria. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know exactly where that's at, And then people were like, oh, I went on a mission trip to Kenya, and I'm like, that's East Africa. I know you're trying to relate.
You're trying to make a connection.
Like, okay. It's like
you didn't quite lay it.
So it's just like, all right, okay. But and one thing that's also important is that even though I was born in the States, at the end of the day, I grew up in a Cameroon household, right? So there's just a lot of things I probably still don't know or I wasn't exposed to because I was in a Cameroon household. I went to an African church, predominantly Nigerian church, in a couple of other countries, Cameroon and Ghana. So, especially in high school around that time, it's like, I was just naive. I mean, there's just things that I didn't know at that time, and I probably still don't know, even though I'm in my 30s. And that has been a disconnect in some relationships. So it's been interesting.
Okay. Now, there's specific things that are connected to Cameroon culture that like you all are known for, or is like it's special to your households that would be like, oh, that is from Cameroon. That's how Cameroonians do it.
I don't think so. And I might not be the right person to answer that question. I just feel like we're better cooks than Nigerians. So I'm probably going to get shot.
Ooh, that's fight word. Oh, you really trying to go there? Okay.
If you see me a week after this episode, if I'm alive a week, because a lot of things might be coming out. No, I mean, honestly, I don't think, and I think that's what I like about Nigerians, right? They just have so much sense of pride, and their parents raise the children with that amount of pride. And I think for me, I've always had issues with identity, because my mom would be like, "Oh, you're American," but I would hear her talking to her friends. I'm like, "Y'all ain't speaking English," And then with my mom being a single mother of two, I was always surrounded by older women from Cameroon. And there was that disconnect, like, who are friends or how do I make friends? And once again, I'm in a Cameroon household, but then I'm going to school in Lubbock, Texas, predominantly white, where I was the only Black girl. And then I moved to Atlanta, where I wasn't Black enough.
Oh, yeah.
So I've always had identity issues. But I can't think of just one thing to be like, hey, this is the Cameroon stamp and seal of approval.
All right, so we kind of touched on culture a little bit. Now on to the next part of our focus today, sexuality, identity. So how do you identify sexually?
I would say I'm queer.
Queer, okay. What does that mean to you?
I would say I'm queer because I don't fit into I feel like I don't fit into the Black LGBT stereotypes. Or let me say the community, all right? And then within the community, there's stereotypes. So kind of going back to the identity, and, early on, I tried to explore the community, and I just wasn't happy. I didn't feel like I belonged. And then the people I was coming across didn't make me feel like I belonged, and I just felt weird. And it was like, you should do this, you should dress this way, and it's like, I tried it, I didn't like it. And
more of like just trying to figure out your identity in a space that you don't quite, it doesn't fit for you. So versus Lubbock, Texas, mostly white people. Atlanta, you're not Black enough. Now you're going to the Black LGBTQ
not African enough. Yeah. Like, I've never been enough, right? So it's like constantly hearing those things. So the thing is, like, I'm very aware that I like women. Like, I've never denied that. I've always been in tune with that. But then it's trying to find the space within the community. So that's the struggle. And that's why I say I'm queer. Because I like women. I'm attracted to women, attracted to men. But yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like bisexual seems limiting for you.
Bisexual is limiting. At times it can be problematic. Problematic. So I think the thing with being bisexual is like, when you're single, you're bisexual, but when you get into that relationship, people are going to assign you based off of that relationship.
Okay.
Right. And I think that's why bisexual people have a hard time defending themselves, because it's like, oh, I'm in this heterosexual relationship, but I'm bisexual. And no, like, I really do. And it's like,
which is sad that we always have to be in a defensive state of defending our identities and who we're attracted to, and having to defend that things change.
Right.
Things grow, they evolve. I mean, just in every aspect. So I think with sexuality, it definitely grows and develops as we get older.
But I think people don't give other individuals that space. Like, I remember early on, people were like, Michelle, are you still gay? And it's like, like, what does that mean? Or, because I'm not tied to a girlfriend, it's like, well, she's not.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't have to be tied to a relationship in order for you to classify me as such.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember when you realized you're attracted to women?
I do, but I think there's also that gray with women in general, because women, we can get away with shit. You know, we can say, oh, you're pretty, like beyond a cute outfit, like you're just pretty. And then we can sleep in the same bed and like nothing sexual going on. And it's just, we're just going to be cheap on this hotel and like I'm not thinking about you, you're not thinking about me, right? But I do remember there was a time in college where things were shifting. And I remember where there was moments where men and women were assuming I was gay, and I didn't understand why, because I was like totally into men at that time. I wasn't even thinking about women. But then I had a friendship where our friendship was just different. And I didn't realize it during the friendship. It was after the friendship. And it was
deeper
like
connection.
Yeah. And it was like, what happened? And then this guy was messing with my friend at the time. And then I ran into him at a party. This is crazy because I just saw him a couple of weeks ago. That's why I'm like, full circle. But anyways, this was years ago. So he stopped messing with my friend, and then I saw him at a party, and then he was trying to talk to me. Like, we had already had a friendship before they were involved, so it's like giving him my number was nothing. But then when he was trying to talk to me, and I'm like, but I'm no longer friends with this girl either. So technically I have no loyalty. But anyways, we had a conversation, and he asked me, he was like, did you and such ever mess around? And I was like, no, why? And he was like, I could have sworn y'all were together.
So
and
he saw like the connection.
Yeah. And I was like,
it was over your head, like
right.
Nothing.
Pretty girl. Like, but and he was like, man, Michelle, there were so many times when I wanted to come over. I was trying to do something. And she's like, no, Michelle's coming over. Michelle's here. Me and Michelle. And I was like maybe, I don't know. So me and her fell out. But at that time or after that, that's when I kind of started exploring, like, what is this feeling? Because I had fallen out with women before, but this was just different. Like, this hurt for some reason.
So that deeper connection, the hurt was deeper.
Yeah, it was a different feeling. And, you know, so it was that. Okay. It was that. And then I just wanted a different sexual experience too. Okay. So.
Now, realizing that you are attracted to women, was there a moment when you thought about how is this going to go over having the culture of being from Cameroon? Yes,
but not in the beginning. So, because in the beginning, I'm thinking it's just sex. I'm thinking I just want to have sex with women. I'm always going to go back to men or have a man or marry a man.
Like, this is going to be strictly behind closed doors.
Right.
Like, this ain't even touching the surface.
Yeah, like I didn't even think about the concept of a girlfriend. Okay. Right. I had
a similar experience, yeah.
You know, it's just like, we're going to have sex. Uh-huh. These men are going to buy our drinks.
Okay.
You know, like, right. It's like, whatever. Yeah. So fast forward, what happened was I was actually in a situationship, right? And I don't know if we need to get deeper, but basically, once again, that relationship ended. Okay. And my mom and I, we've never had the conversation about my sexuality, me dating women or anything like that. Okay. But she was very aware of who this young lady was in my life. Okay. And if my mom couldn't find me, she was calling her. You know, so whatever. But after that, after we ended, it was just like, what does coming out mean? What does that look like? And I felt that, because my mom, she's judgmental. I'm judgmental too, right? But my mom, like in the past, I would hear her say, I guess, the homophobic slurs and stuff like that. And it's like, it doesn't resonate because it's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, like, whatever. Like, it doesn't apply to me. And then when it applies to you, it's like, oh, shit. It's hitting home.
Right. You hear it a little deeper.
Yeah.
Your antennas go up like, oh, yeah. That's what you believe. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had no reason to question it or engage in that type of conversation before. And it's just like, what does coming out mean? And I was like, well, I'm not going to come out. And I felt no reason to come out. And I still have reasons as to why I don't adhere to that phrase or that story. But overall, I don't think, I think my mom, she wouldn't like it, but she'll be like, okay, like at this point, because there's been so many other things in the past that she hasn't approved of. She's like, my daughter, just, and then on a deeper scale, in Cameroon specifically, the country, like they stone and kill gay people, right? There's people that are fleeing the country for their lives just because they're gay, and it's a sad situation. So I don't know, but at the same time,
is that homophobia like rampant? Like, so like, if someone is like a rumor about somebody being gay, is it possible that they could be harmed?
Yes. Right. And I mean, this is stuff I read probably like 2-3 times a year, just random articles, of being gay in Cameroon or being gay in Africa and the stuff that pops up. I'm talking to one young lady that I met through Instagram. She's from Cameroon. She lives in London. And just hearing those types of stories, men or women, is very sad. And it's one of the privileges of living in America, right? That God forbid, but even if my mom didn't accept me, at the end of the day, I know I could still survive, right? I know I can keep my job, pay my bills, still have a family amongst my friends. And a lot of people don't have that luxury.
So you talked about not coming out and kind of strong beliefs about not adhering to the traditional sense of coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
So I've always been a private person.
Okay.
And even when I was dating men, I never brought men around my mom. Okay. Not too many people could say, oh, they see Michelle with the guy or they see Michelle with the boyfriend. And then it's like, why should it be any different because it's a woman?
Okay.
Right. So, and this could be some fucked up rationale, okay, but I think what happens is when you consider yourself part of the LGBT community, I think people expect you to lead with that. They expect you to lead with your sexual identity, whereas heterosexual people don't have to. It's right. Like you just assume they're straight, unless this person has a level of flamboyancy. You'll be like, oh, well, he or she's gay.
Right.
But if they're just the average person, well, oh, they're straight. I just thought, and then it's like, okay, so now that I date women, why do I have to tell everyone I date women? Why do I have to announce that I'm queer, I'm a lesbian, I'm like, I don't believe in those announcements. Okay. But if we have a conversation, yeah, I'll tell you everything.
Okay. Now, I would think you're very bold and vocal about your Cameroon culture, but not as vocal when it comes to the queer identity. Why do you think there's a different level there?
Once again, I think I just recently started leading as a Cameroon, fairly recently, right?
Is that 2 years?
Right. But at the same time, it's like people don't know I'm African unless they see my name. And they're like, oh, well, you don't look African. Well, okay. So that's part of it.
That down.
I don't have the cheekbones or whatever. So that's part of it. But honestly, I think, once again, I don't think you have to lead with sexuality or your identity, the preferred meaning. And then the third thing is, what is the third thing? Oh, I don't feel like I belong, right? But I think even if I did feel like I belong with the community, I don't know if it's as important. I don't know if it would change anything. I don't know. I don't think people care. And I don't understand why that has to be pronounced.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I have seen what it does for just the overall sense in the community is the visibility. Like for you, imagine growing up if there were Cameroonian bisexual women in every avenue that you have been in, say teachers, in music, TV, podcasters, bloggers, and everything, and they're very vocal about their identity. What would that have done for you coming up?
I don't know. And I like what you're saying because I do believe representation matters, right? And lots of times the representation is on race and we'll say sexual orientation, right? And I think and I don't know what this looks like, but if I'm able to represent for the collective with my life still being private, that may be cool.
I think I heard from you saying, like, I don't bring a man around, so now that I'm dating a woman, I don't feel the need to bring her around.
Right.
And I get that because it's like, I don't need everyone knowing my business about who I'm connected to at this moment while I'm still getting to know them.
Right.
Because, you can't, if it don't work out, you can't be just latched on to my...
Right.
But I think there's a difference between showing that pride in your sexual identity, because it is so very few that we see kind of using their voices and their platforms to show like, hey, this is me and this is my life. This is what it looks like.
That's true. And I don't think that's my platform. Right. So I understand I'm a multifaceted person and all of these layers and all that kind of stuff. But I think growing up, I've been in so many rooms where I didn't have the language at the time, but I've been the token Negro, and it's like, I can't speak for all gay Black folk.
Right.
And I think what has happened early on in my 20s, I would find myself constantly defending my sexuality, my identity. And I don't like that. Right. And then that's a problem, or the problem I've had is because I don't fit into the stereotype. It's like, I'm not gay enough. Okay. And where I've been in relationships with women and they're like, you're not that gay. And I'm like, but we're having a sexual, so my thing is, if I like you, you like me, cool, we can do our thing or whatever. But I have never felt like I don't want to be the person to talk about being Black and queer. Like, I don't think that's my platform. Okay. Now I can talk about my experiences and maybe I'm transitioning into that. There's things that I've shared with you, but I don't know. Like I'm not 100% yet. Okay. Right. I don't mind talking about those things at this point. Because I did write a book and I probably titled this episode that, but it's like, I don't want to be known as a sex girl. Right. I don't want to be known as this person. And then obviously I jumped into my business thing and now I'm like, I want to get out of the business, personal branding, whatever. So it's been a delicate balance and I've been okay with those one-on-one conversations. But as far as building a platform on it, I haven't wanted to lead that charge.
Okay. So I think kind of getting into your platform and going into more of the focus today of like professional brand versus personal brands and marrying those two, how would you describe yourself as a professional?
As a professional, respectable, tactful, confident, get the job done, okay. Well connected.
Now, how would you describe yourself, like personal Michelle?
Passive aggressive. Right, Justyn, I thought you knew me.
You said passive aggressive.
I am passive aggressive. I know that.
Okay.
And there's a reason why. And I mean, there's many reasons why I like dating women, but at the same time, I know I'm very passive aggressive when it comes to dating women. And the thing is, with especially doing corporate and having my business and managing clients, I make so many decisions during the day as a manager and all this kind of stuff that if I am interested in someone and we'll just say we're talking, like I just really want to unwind. I'm all about you, whatever you want to do, where you want to go. Okay. Just tell me where to go and what time. I'll be there. I'll pay for it. Like, I don't want to make those decisions. But dating a woman, that's a problem because the women I like, you know what I like. So they want someone to take, to make those decisions and take the lead. So I've had to learn to do a better job with that. But yeah, I'm passive aggressive in my personal life.
So why is there a disconnect between professional Michelle and personal Michelle? And why is it a problem?
Why is there a disconnect? That damn social media. I love that. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that's
I got into social media because of you. It was because of your workshop.
I know.
So now you talking about social media.
That Facebook memory came up recently. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I definitely think there's a perception deception because of social media. But once again, I've always been a private person. And I feel like my time with you is my time with you. Like, everything doesn't need to be captured, especially if we at home chilling, or at a restaurant.
It has kind of lifted the veil because it used to be before social media, people went to work, they were at work, then they would go home. And they were very different at being versus at work and being professional versus being at home. But now with social media and everything, it's like people want access to everything and show everything, every emotion. And
the problem is the lurking, right? So, for example, and it's funny, I was thinking about this the other night. It's like when we were in college, you would be on campus, you would come across a handful of attractive people, you would exchange numbers, or you go to the club, maybe a college party that night, or you go to the mall, you exchange numbers, and like you had to make the decision and the initiative to know more, right? I have to call this person. You have to be by the phone at this time to pick up the phone. Whereas now it's like, okay, you're on Instagram, let me follow you. Scroll.
I can see vacation, I can see a party drive, I can see you for work, for promotion, where you went to school, everything. Your family, siblings, when you graduated high school, everything's on there.
Right. And now it's like, maybe she's out of my league.
Okay. You saying that about other women or women?
Well, first of all, I ain't no woman. Well, I mean,
I want to get to know Michelle. This the real Michelle.
This the Michelle on Sunday at the gym and brunch. No, but I do think that's what happens, right? People get intimidated based off what they see on social media. Like, I had a young man tell me this last year. He was like, I'm thinking, whatever. But anyways, we meet up at Starbucks and he was like, well, I know a brother got to come to you correct. He got to be on his shit. And I'm like, yeah, like
anybody.
Like, who wants a bum ass nigga? Like, who wants a bum ass chick?
How do you respond to that? Like, duh. Like, what do you like?
And then the thing is, it's like he's an attractive dude, but like I'm not even thinking about him in that way. So it's like, are you trying to? Is this a backhanded compliment? What's going on here? And then come to find, he's a fuckboy. So. Well, I digress. But
now, is he a fuckboy who doesn't know he's a fuckboy?
I don't know, because he didn't fuck me over. Oh. But the story started to come out.
Oh, the truth came out. Okay, got you.
But so it's like I would like to think, male or female, you would step to anyone you're interested in correctly, right. But I don't know. And I hate it because sometimes, like earlier this year, I was like, man, I think I would throw away my personal brand if I could genuinely date. Like, I've been struggling with that this year.
Like managing your personal brand and dating?
My personal brand's on point.
Yes, confidence.
But if I could do away with it, like if it was just Michelle working 9 to 5 at the law firm,
okay.
and not Michelle with the past 5-6 years of accomplishments.
Okay. I got you. So all of this development that you made outside of 9 to 5, managing that side of your empire.
Like sometimes, like earlier this year, like I would give this up if I could genuinely date or meet the right person, because I am ready to settle down. So,
now, what does it mean to settle down in your eyes? It looks different in this day and age.
It does. I would like to be in an exclusive relationship with a young lady, aligned, core values, sexually, spiritually.
Is there a preference that she is also like a Cameroon cultural background?
No, but I think what happens when you get into cultures, we'll just say African culture in general, Cameroon, Nigeria, pretty much West Africa, Ghana, Sierra Leone, those are the ones I tend to meet, right? People in general. I think it's just it's a different mindset at the end of the day. And then sometimes, not sometimes, but it's good to see those traditions merge, like especially this year where I've been to Cameroon wedding and Nigerian wedding. I think as I'm older, it's like, man, like this is great to see a full-fledged Nigerian wedding, a full-fledged Cameroon wedding, and just have that synergy there. Because I've always said, like, if I was to meet a Cameroon chick, like that would be the ideal situation. Like, we get married. Like, what are you doing for the rest of life?
Now, how would you balance being with a Cameroon woman and she's very vocal about her identity, her sexual identity in the community?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would that be a difference for you? So you're kind of more not as vocal and more private. And this person is very like shout it from the mountaintop and lead with the charge.
That's fine, but like our time is our time. Okay. So, and I guess depending on how things go, I'll definitely call her out, but I'm not like, I don't have a bunch of selfies. I don't take a lot of pictures, So I guess it just depends. But I mean, if that's her thing and that's her passion and her platform, yeah, by all means, go ahead, go for it.
All right. So developing your professional brand, personal brand, where does culture and sexual identity fit into this melting pot?
I would say culture is there, but I think culture is more there once again because of my name. I love my name. It's my name has carried me because it's just been so different growing up. Like Gomez.
Yes. Smith. Very general. To the point.
Got the why.
It's Lord. If it wasn't for that why, thank you, Mama. Lord. Jesus.
So, my name has definitely carried me to have such an effective personal brand and being an individual. As far as the LGBTQ side, once again, it's not something I deny. I just don't lead with it, right? Maybe if I was in a relationship, if I was with a woman, maybe things would change, a serious committed relationship. But we'll see. Like, I want to share my story more. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing the interview. But I also feel like my story is my story. And hopefully something out of that resonates with you, whether it's the culture, whether it's the sexuality. you don't have to be a victim, just the education. It took me 11 years to get my degree. A lot of people don't know that. And just little things like that, like just persevere and you evolve and give yourself grace.
And I think those little things about our individual stories mean so much to other people that we don't really think about because it's our story, it's our normal. But for other people, it's like, oh my gosh, I connect with that so much.
Yeah, and that's true because I went to an event the other day and I was like, oh, I'm Michelle Gomez, founder of the African American Marketing Association. And two of the ladies, I know them, they're just looking at me. She's an author. She's an international speaker. She's a da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I just came here to support you.
I'm just here.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even be thinking about some of that stuff. Like, I'm just here to support my friend.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just it's like when you're on, you're on. When it's not, you're not on. It's like, I'm just here. Chilling. What you doing? Chilling.
But me chilling is hurting my dating life.
Well, you gotta be active out here. What's it like dating, being attracted to men and women?
I mean, so I acknowledge beauty.
Okay. That sounds like a pimp on the corner. Hey, I acknowledge beauty. How you doing, girl?
Hey, girl. Let me tell you about yourself. I got them lines. I be listening to them R&B songs, so I be listening to them hidden tracks on the album, not the singles. Oh my God, everyone can sing along to the singles.
Number 7. The number 8. Not at the beginning of the each right. The one that then everybody don't hear.
The one you skip it. No, I'm attracted to men. I'm attracted to women. I think the biggest thing, I'm more of an instant attraction person. So like when I see you and I get that feeling, I'm like, oh, okay.
The green light.
Yeah, like that one. And I've tried the whole, don't go with the butterflies and become friends. That's not for me. I want to date strangers. I'm attracted to. Men don't approach me, which is fine or whatever. I do prefer being with women, so I don't have a problem approaching women, but I don't just be out there approaching women. And people are like, well, it's a numbers game. I'm like, that's fine for a man. But as a woman, I've always been, I don't want to make women feel uncomfortable, right? Okay. I don't want, and I think things are changing now that I'm older, but one of my things early on is like, the problem, I have so many issues with the gay community, right?
Well, let's get into those.
But one of the problems is I feel like when you say, we'll just say gay as a broad term, when you say you're gay, I think people lose sight of everything you are prior to that, right? It's no longer Justyn's getting a PhD, Justyn's a therapist, Justyn's cool. It's like, Justyn, the gay guy. And I hate when people say that.
Really? I love it.
Really?
Because for me, it's so empowering because it used to be so scary for me, like being in the closet. And so now having that identity and being known for it, I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
I just feel like when you identify me based off of my sexuality, it negates everything prior to. It negates everything prior to our relationship. Like we were building this friendship, and as soon as I tell you I'm a lesbian, it's like, she gay, right? What's that got to do? What's this got to do with scheduling this podcast?
So it sounds like that changes the dynamic that you're building with someone. Okay.
Or just a couple of weeks ago, I was at a networking event, and me and this young lady decided to get drinks, and I think she asked me if I was dating. I don't know. I was like, why date women? And she was like, oh, I kind of picked up on that. It's like, oh, I always wanted to be with a woman. Like, why are you telling me this?
Because you just gave her the green light.
For what?
For her to disclose her experience.
I'm like, why do women tell me this?
Because you just said it. So it's like, oh, me too. It's like, oh, you dated women. I've dated women too.
No. She's like, I've always wanted to be with a woman.
Oh, you normalize it for her, Michelle. Representation matters, people. You normalize dating women for her right there in that moment. She's like, oh, I always want to date women. See?
I just feel like, girl, if you don't go, you don't go somewhere. Like, no. Huh.
You gave her the green light.
That's why I keep you around, just in perspective. Okay.
You see why you gotta be more vocal, Michelle?
We're gonna go get those drinks again. No, I don't know. I mean, I'm not interested in her like that. But no, that always happens, and it's like, why are you telling me this?
So it sounds like, do you feel like throwing the gay card in there throws a wrench in your game? Because it sounds like when the gay card is on the table, especially with women, the dynamic changes. So it's not like just getting to know Michelle. It's like now getting to know Michelle with the possibility that she wants to date me or she may be attracted to me. It's not just getting to know me as a person.
It definitely changes, and it could always go either way. So it's like, oh, I've always wanted to be with a woman before, or, I'm strictly dickly. And I was like, no one wants you. I don't want you.
Okay.
And my thing, like, if I want you, like, it's gonna, like, and for me, I know my intentions. If I like you, I know my intentions right away, and I'm gonna act respectfully in those intentions, right? But I can see how a woman on the other side won't see that. But it's just, I don't know, it's just it's a funny space sometimes.
Okay, we talked about this gray space.
Hey.
You like to be in the gray space.
I'm trying to do better.
What's comfortable about being in the gray space?
It's agonizing. You know what I'm going through right now?
Okay, so if it's agonizing, why are you staying in it?
I struggle with that because I feel like attracts alike, right? So I think initially there's a couple of things, right? Initially, I'm looking at this woman. It's like, oh, she's very attractive, and we had great conversation, and somehow I've managed to get her number. Right. At the same time, when I ask women out, I don't say hang out. Mm-hmm. I'll say something like, you should let me take you out. I want to take you out. I'm like
direct.
Oh, that's a date, right? Like, I've been so confused this year. But I'm like, I don't say like, let's grab drinks or we should hang out. It's like, I want to take you out. Like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? I'm all about you.
Is there more of a built-in gray area with two women? Because I feel like with two men, it's very like black and white. If it's two men going on a date. Whereas women, maybe there is a gray area of like just two women as friends going to hang out.
So I've been having many conversations this year about that, but it's hard to say because what I tell people is like, I don't like my friends are my friends. Like I'm asking a woman out the first or the second time I see her. Like there's no friendship involved. We are not friends. Let's be clear.
Ain't no friendship. Friendship don't live here no more.
No, like let's be very clear. In my opinion, my perspective, we are not friends. I see you like the first time I saw you, I knew I wanted you. The second time I'm asking you out. Okay. And there's some communication going on in between or whatever. And then I'm very direct when I ask you out. So like I don't know.
If you're very direct in asking women out, then the women that you are connecting to, are they clear?
No. So that's another thing I struggle with because, and I hate to be like this, but I do understand women like attention. Okay. Depending on the woman.
We all like attention.
We all do like attention. We do. And as long as you make yourself available, I'll probably give you that attention. Okay. Right? Now, we Probably won't do anything beyond that, but whatever, right? We can play that game. But I think, so once again, it goes back to my intentions and what does friendship look like? Because I would say the past couple of years, the women I've been interested in, with the exception of one, we did not have an established friendship, right? So if I'm going out, or excuse me, if I'm saying like, hey, I want to take you out, hey, I want to see you, when can I see you? And you're like, oh, I'm free tonight, tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay, you can come over. Wait, I'm thinking we're on the same page.
Right.
You know? Or like, hey, you know, you want me to cook for you? And I try not to have women cook for me, right?
Why not?
Because it's no longer, I no longer see it as a prize.
Okay.
Right. So what happens is before is, oh, like you gonna cook for me? Yeah, because like, oh shit, like, what? You know, right?
So cooking for you is like a big thing.
But
it touches something deeper. You're like,
it touches something deeper, but it needs to come naturally. Right. Like I'm no longer requesting women to cook for me to see if she's going to do it, and then I don't need her to cook for me to see if she can get me to do something. Right. So I've been on both sides. So now it's like I don't care. Like I don't care if you can cook. I'm gonna eat regardless, and I don't miss meals. So
I'm a foodie,
right?
So like food matters a lot to me. But I think I've just kind of some thinking of my own. Like my partner does not cook, and I think it's like God's plan of balance. Because if he did cook and cooked very well, I probably would be like stupid in love. Like it would just be ridiculous.
But that's the thing. I think like before cooking used to be a big deal, and now it's just it doesn't carry the same weight. But I say that to say, whereas I've had women will call me, like women that I like, I'm thinking we are on the same page. Hey, I'm cooking Sunday. I'm cooking. You want to come over and eat? Hell yeah. Like,
for me.
Well, you want me? I'll bring a bottle. Cool. You know, like she wants to cook. And I think women want to do this. Women want to take care of someone. Right. So I just have to be careful on how I interpret these things. Woman wants to cook. I've had a woman cook and bring the food to my house. Right. And then, so it's like, and then just other things go. I feel like I have to say no sex involved, right? But other things going on, flirting, whatever the fuck is going on. And then I'm like, hey, I like you. I'm interested in you. And it's like, oh, well, I'm talking to this guy right now. I want to focus on. It's like,
okay.
Like, what have we been, like, because I just don't be cooking. And I sure as hell ain't going to drop no food off to y'all.
Like, what?
And that's the thing, like, my friends don't do that. You know, my friends, like, if I'm here all day and it's like 8 o'clock, okay, now, Justyn, we got to eat. What we about to do? We going to order? But you're just not like, oh, let me cook and Michelle can come over. You know, it's just different dynamics. So when I watch women, it's like, why is she doing this? Or what does this mean? Or whatever. Oh, you just be cooking for everyone? You a chef? Because I know chefs and they don't be cooking for everyone. Like, so I'm no longer fascinated by cooking. Okay. But so I think that's the problems I've been having. It's just when I tell women that I like them, they're either defaulting to a guy or they're like, well, I'm not gay anymore. And I'm like...
So this kind of leads us into the audience questions. And I think this is a perfect one to start, is why are you single?
So I've been single 10 years. I'm single because I'm very particular about...
No, when you say single for 10 years, let's break that down now.
Okay.
So does that mean you have not been in any relationship for 10 years?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
I've been on dates. But no commitment.
Nothing exclusive.
No situationships.
Not even a situationship?
No. No.
So why? Why it be that way?
I mean, well, so after the last situation that ended when I was thinking like 26, I want to say 26. That took everything out of me, like completely heartbroken. And I think me and this young lady, we were only involved for like a year, a little over a year. But she was such a significant person in my life, right? And I will forever love her for that. So it was that relationship, but I also understand it was an accumulation of childhood and other relationships with men and women where I think it just, combustible? Yeah, it like, I think exploded. Everything just exploded. So I spent many years in therapy, unpacking. What is my attachment style? And there's things that I would know, or I knew about myself, but going through therapy kind of gave me that explanation, allowed me to go deep versus wide. But I was devastated, and a lot of that still lingers. If we're going to talk about PTSD, and then I think one of the most significant things about her was prior to her, there were so many times I could have committed to men and I didn't, right? I could have committed to another woman and I didn't. And I'm finally ready to commit to this one woman and she doesn't want me. So this is a big dent on the ego. Like, I'm finally getting to this point and then she doesn't want to commit. Rightfully so, right? So there was ego, and then I was like, fuck, karma's a bitch.
Hey, Karma. How you doing?
So, and just kind of dealing with that. But then the crazy thing is, karma got her too, So, and just learning a lot about myself. So that was like the first 5 years. And then I was in and out of school, got 2 degrees within that time frame. But I'll say like the latter 5 years, I have been trying to date. I have been trying to put myself out there more through profiles, apps, going out, whatever. And another thing, the early 5 years was me actually trying to engage into the LGBT community and trying to find my belonging, and like nothing would stick, changing my clothes. It's just crazy. Are you a stud? I remember one time I was at a gas station, this lady was like, "Are you a stud?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "I only date studs." Okay, well, I'm not. Like, and just like, I just, like, I don't belong. Like, I like women, but I don't belong, So that was the first 5 years. And then the past 5 years, the emotionally unavailable women I've been attracted.
So what does love look like? What does love mean to you?
Well, hold on. So why am I single? I'm just very particular about the women I get involved with. And then I think there's a misperception of me as well. Of what people
disconnect we talk about.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's why I'm single. What does love look like? I think love is a feeling. It's an action. I think love is feeling secure even when challenges arise. And I'm at a point now where, because of these past experiences I shared, like, my love is not confusing. My love is not conflicting, right? So I know I like you. I need you to know that you like me. And half the time I'm like, let's just have a conversation. It's not even about us being together. Let's just have a conversation. So that's where I'm at right now with what love looks like.
Okay. Now, how do you find the right match between intellectual and sexual?
That is challenging because I think...
Is it?
I think so.
Really? In Houston?
There's a lot of attractive people in Houston.
Okay.
Right?
Try to say they're not intellectual.
No,
It's like it's a lot of attractive people.
No, I mean,
And
if you just look, like, that's the thing. Like, I'm an instant attraction person.
Okay.
So, like, the women I like, I can tell you dates, what they had on, like, vividly, HD, just boom, like that one.
So the sexual is there, they're attractive, but it's the intellect not there.
Well, I'm always going to date women that are smarter than me, right? But this is an audience question, and I know the brother that sent this question. Right? But I think the thing is, it's what kind of topics can we cover? What does the conversation look like?
Yeah.
How deep and wide can we go into conversation? And lots of times, if you don't have discipline over yourself, you're not going to be able to explore that because you're just so focused on the lust, you know? So you have to be patient with yourself to see if this person can hold your attention conversation-wise. I think that's why I'm such an advocate of companionship. People are like, do you want to get married? I'm not opposed, but companionship's really important to me because, you know, when I'm 80, I would like to think...
You still putting it down?
I would like to think so.
You still putting it down?
I would like to think
with the hip replacement, you still putting it down?
I would like to. Okay, maybe 60. You know, I would like to think so, you know? But let's be real.
We're going to be sitting down. Probably eating an apple or something.
Some rocking chairs. Let's be real, you know? So, and it's hard. It's hard to look like you're 30 years old. Why do I want to fast forward?
Yeah. One thing also, having a broad lens on intellects, I think we automatically jump to college degrees or expertise in things and not thinking about what the conversation is like between each of us. Like, that person may have knowledge about something that you don't, or they can have more life experience, but just kind of...
That's another one.
Very like, if you don't have a certain degree, you're not, this ain't gonna work.
And that's the thing. And it's like, are you open to receive and hear their experiences? You know, I think another thing is when you're networking and in your different rooms, can you take this person with you? You know, and I've had these conversations with my friends where I don't always want to go what's off of paper, but, you know, if I'm going to take you to the gala and I need to go across the room to, you know, nurture this relationship, this contact, like, are you going to be okay to hold it on your own? If I introduce you, are you going to be okay? Can you hold your liquor while we in this room?
Ooh. Uh-oh.
You know.
Sounds like a backstory right there. Can you hold your liquor in the room?
You know, and then even this, like, can I be with someone that I can navigate in these different networks in these rooms with? Because, yeah, you good on paper, but you out there looking foolish. Well, you know that Michelle girl. God damn it.
She had that, that one. Mm-hmm. All right, so why is it so hard to communicate in 2019?
I think, once again, social media, instant gratification, too many options in front of your face. Like, even if you don't meet that person, just to know you can jump on Tinder or a dating app and have a good chat with someone, like, that's crazy.
That instant attention. You're not going to give me attention.
Right.
I can get it from somewhere else real quick.
Right. And then Instagram has so many attractive people. Even if you don't ever meet them, it's just the fact that you can see them every day.
Yeah. All right. This is a very interesting question from your audience. Why do men act dumb?
I think men and women are definitely on two different planets, two different wavelengths. I think it goes back to the previous question, just brought up differently. I don't think boys are raised to communicate, to express their feelings, good or bad sometimes. Whereas women get it out, and we'll talk we'll just talk, you know? Okay. So that definitely serves as a problem, you know, getting into your 20s and 30s where you have accomplished the degree, the job, or whatever, but now you need something stable in your life and you don't know how to communicate that, right? I don't know what to say because I've never had to say anything before. And it's like, oh, you can't depend on your dick. Not that head.
You can't just use your body.
Yeah, but I had to learn that too. Like, as a woman, I think sex is power, sex is a weapon. And it's like, well, I'm not going to win this argument, so let me do something else. You know?
You adjust it. Observe, adjust.
You know,
I got it.
So I think that's the problem a lot of us have nowadays. I think that's the problem, some men have. It's just, I think the expectations are low. And then when you meet that woman that has the standard, there's a gap. And it's like, men don't know how to raise that gap.
Do women keep holding the bar high?
Some women. I have my theories, but I think most women don't. And then the women that do have their standards, it is difficult for guys to reach it. Because the thing is, a man has to decide on how much effort he wants to put into it, a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right. Next audience question. What are some things you wish you know now about dating that you wish you knew when you were younger?
I would have pursued marriage seriously in college.
Really? That young? Like 22, 23?
At least in my 20s.
Okay.
At least in my 20s.
So when you were in your 20s, like 25, between 25 and 29, marriage was the furthest thing from your mind.
So I felt like because I didn't have my degree, I didn't have anything to offer.
Oh, man.
I felt like because I didn't have my degree, I wasn't in a position to get the job, start the career that I needed. So it was like, get the job, start the career, earn the money that I needed in order for me to be married. Right. And those are problems that stem from childhood.
Was that the timeline that was projected onto you?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the timeline projected for most people, right? Graduate 4 or 5 years. So I'm 21, 22-ish. Probably thought I was going to be married by the time I was 25. I was going to have 3 kids named Lauren, Lynn, and Lyndon.
3 L's?
Yeah, because 2 of them were going to be twins.
Talk about a plan.
Yeah. And even then, I remember I read at the age of 17, 18, I read a good book, Christian book called I Kiss Dating Goodbye and Boy Meets Girl, and it talks about courting. Mm-hmm. So I've always known how to date. I just had that period where I went rogue. But I think, what question are we on? Oh yeah, I would have taken men more seriously when I was younger, but I do struggle with that because I also feel like if I got married at that age, I probably would have been divorced, and I wouldn't be the Michelle that I am today.
Because if you would have got married to a man, would you have discovered your sexual identity of being queer and been in a marriage with a man and trying to maneuver that?
I probably would have suppressed it, especially if kids were involved. But I mean, so with the sexuality thing, sexuality, in my opinion, is about me being comfortable with my body and who I decide to express that with. So there's been times when I've been hypersexual, and there's been times when I've been asexual, like no sex, no desire to have sex, right? So I feel like I've been all across that spectrum. But I definitely think if I had children, I would have been less likely to explore my sexuality.
All right, next audience question. When do you put your foot down and speak up about going from a situationship to a relationship or nothing?
So that's a hard one. My whole thing, so I'm going to preface it with this. I believe if you're entertaining the wrong person, you're not going to meet the right person.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to preface that.
Okay.
But in the event, if you're in a situationship, and we're going to speak on the heteronormative right now, because I know you sent this question. And I want to use big words. I think that conversation has to happen early. And I don't know what early is. I've always believed if you have sex with someone more than 3 times, feelings get involved. And it's harder to disconnect.
I mean, probably most cases.
Okay. So if you can't have that conversation by the 5th round, the 5th time, I don't know.
What the 5th round is?
I don't know. Well, that's why I had to say the fifth separate occasion.
Okay. All right.
The 5th separate occasion, you know. They leave.
Okay. They come back. It's a different date. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right. Yeah, I think you got to have that conversation early and it's hard because once again, it depends on if that man wants to put effort in. And I think if a man is already feeling like, because sleeping with someone's the ultimate prize from a woman.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it, and I date women.
So you think sleeping with a woman is the ultimate prize? So are you saying if they're already sleeping together, the man is like, I already got the prize?
Yeah. Like that, to me, that I'm like, granted, I truly like dating. I like taking women out. I like treating women, right? But and I've been in these situations, like I've been with them, like she didn't require shit from me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay. And then that just allowed me to put my effort into another woman.
Okay.
You know? So I think it's hard. And if she did say, Michelle, I'm not taking you out. I'm not taking you out.
Lord.
Because I know as soon as I meet someone what my intentions are. Right. Okay. So yeah.
Okay. So you speak up. You basically, whatever it is, you need to be aligned with what you want. So if you want a relationship, speak up. If you want a situationship where you just kicking it, then you good.
And then I also think like I love women that own their sexuality, right? So if you're in a situationship, I feel like you got to be a G about that shit, right? Like own that shit.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I'm doing, and that's what it is,
right? And then if you're in a relationship, you still need to own that shit, but at the same time, you have to be strong enough that if he can't give you that relationship, you're going to leave him alone. Because what happens is a lot of women like, well, the dick is good, so you know, until I meet someone else. But then it goes back to what I said earlier. As long as you're entertaining the wrong person, you're not going to meet the right person. Because when you get bored, lonely, you're calling such and such to come over and entertain you. Come on. Let me write this sermon real quick.
Well, I guess when you get into that relationship, you're going to stay well and be like, this is who I'm connected to in those tough times. But I think that kind of goes to the next audience question. Have you ever explored your past issues to uncover things that could be damaging to your current relationships or feelings about someone? Let's face it, have you done your work?
Right. I have. And I struggle with, me personally, I have, but I do struggle with that because I haven't been in a relationship. I wonder if the work I've been doing, when will I apply it?
You haven't been tested.
Right.
Because it's easy to say, oh, I healed that until the person that you're connected to and in love with triggers something in you. You're like, oh, snap.
But there's moments when my crushes triggers. And I'm like, wait, see, okay.
I thought I had.
Right.
I thought I had dealt with that.
Right. So, I mean, that's a hard thing. But I do think more people, let me go back. A lot of women are doing the work. And I don't know if we have as many men doing the work, regardless of the relationship or identity and stuff. I don't know I don't think men are as vocal about doing the work if they are, you know, but it's the women personal development, professional development. They're at the conferences, they're at the seminars, they're buying the books.
Black women especially, They at the Women Empowerment Brunch. Yeah. They at the Women Empowerment Conference. They at the Women Empowerment Getaway to Belize.
Right. All on the same day.
All of them. Yeah.
You know, and look, I love men. I love my brothers. I love Black men, and I love Black women. The men do need more safe spaces. I'm not a man, so I don't know where they are, but I do think men need more safe spaces to express who they are. And I posted this on my IG stories. A young man, I think named Marcus, committed suicide earlier this week or last week because he was comfortable dating a transsexual woman.
Yeah, transgender woman, I think.
Transgender woman, thank you. But guys were mocking him, and that shit pissed me off because I'm like, half y'all niggas are sucking dick anyways. Like,
now if we're gonna tell the truth now, behind closed doors, they all doing XYZ.
You know, but they had their soul, and I was like, oh, damn. So like that hurts my heart.
Yeah, and I think that's why we try to talk about therapy so openly, and like that it is dope, because that's like a created space to be safe, that you can go and like just be vulnerable and talk about like, this happened, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
Like I'm feeling sad, or I'm feeling angry.
And it sucks because I think, especially when it comes to Black gay men or whatever, it's like if they're DL, that's a problem. If they're flamboyant, that's a problem. And here this brother is trying to be honest with himself, have an honest life, and it's still a problem. So it's like, when will we stop? When will it be enough? And I don't know, it's just crazy.
All right. Now, y'all always have some good questions. This one really speaks to what you talked about overall with this focus on intersectionality. Do African women have a voice in the feminist movement? Come on, get deep with it. We got African women. We got feminist movement.
I want to say no, and this never crossed my mind until I saw this question the other day. I want to say no, because what happens is people see race and then they just put us all Black, right? Not giving credit to that African diaspora of African American women, Afro-Latina women, Caribbean women, and then there's African women. So no, I don't think African women have a voice in the movement. I don't think uneducated women, based off of class, income, education, they don't have a voice in the movement. And I don't even think African women among Black women have a voice. And I think that's something I'm trying to create, of being Cameroon American woman. Yes, I'm born here, but my experiences are still different. A lot of it has been struggles of identity, because I haven't been enough in all of these communities I've been in. I haven't been enough. I have been told I am not enough, even when I felt comfortable. And then also being a single woman and not being a mother. Sometimes people feel like because I don't have a man, because I was doing air quotes, because I don't have children, I haven't reached my full womanhood. It's like, no, I've been a woman. I'm a woman because of my experiences.
Kind of like that. You can do all these things, but people used to reference Oprah. Like Oprah has all these things, but she ain't a man. But she ain't no kids.
Or she's not married to
him. She's not married to him.
Yeah.
There has to be a but. Even though she is so accomplished and every right is successful, it's still that, but she doesn't have this.
Yeah. And it's sad because a lot of women put pressure on themselves to have certain things by a certain age, and we know why. But it's hard. It's very, very challenging.
Well, I think with using your voice, with your identity,
all of them.
You look to all of them. You look to build a little more every day. And that's all you can really do is use your experience, your life, your identities to push forward and make it a little easier for the person who's coming behind you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, talking to you, I feel like I need to do a better job doing that.
I hope you show more visibility. I'm like, do it, Michelle, because I know, like, what I feel, even being out for 5 years, still seeing gay Black men in different positions or dynamics still empowers me and, like, validates me and, like inspires me. Like, there's a new show on Netflix with 2 gay Black men. I'm like, yes! And so just so that visibility is still important, even for me being 5 years out, it's like so great to see that because it just increases my pride just maybe one notch higher and normalizes still one notch higher because we're still fighting that many, many, many years of this isn't right and this shouldn't be this way. So it takes time to heal those wounds. So visibility is important.
That's true.
I think about there was a camp for like gay Cameroon teenagers.
I don't know about Cameroon. I would say African.
Okay. Because one day, how will there be a pride in Cameroon if more people don't become more vocal?
And that's a very steep
Will it take
hill.
a Stonewall in Cameroon? It's what it took here.
Right. And the thing is, with me being born here and not having the ability to go back home, like, there's such a disconnect. Like, when I went, I was 7 or 8 years old, and I don't even remember much. But I have the pride. Like, I know from that age, it was just those little things. It's the food, it's the clothes that have always stuck with me. But I think now that I'm a 36-year-old woman, I just have a greater awareness of what's going on, and therefore I'm able to embrace the pride. But I don't know what that looks like back home because the political climate's already rough to begin with, let alone adding the LGBTQ component on it. But I think if I evolve to the point where, or let me say crossover to the point where I'm able to do more interviews and talks about my experiences, I don't have a problem adding the LGBTQ because it serves in that space. It serves in that capacity. But when it comes to business, I feel like my identity has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
And then another thing, I hate to be like this, but sometimes I feel like I want to say gay for pay. Now, I'm not talking about porn.
It's a very lucrative industry. Get your coin, girl. Get your coin.
And people have, like, Michelle, if you say this, I'm sure you'll blow. And I'm like, do I have to say that to blow up?
Okay.
But I don't know. This book, I really do need to write this book, My Eccentric Nature. And but I think mentally, emotionally, I'm in the space to assume the good and the bad that the book may bring. Okay. And I couldn't say that 6 years ago.
Sounds like now you're prepared to deal with it. Like, I can take it.
Yeah.
The hits, the blows,
the
good, the bad. I know I can take it.
The women throwing themselves at me. Yeah.
You can take that. No. You can always take that.
I'm like, no, I am preserving myself.
Depends on what side of the spectrum you're on.
I am preserving myself.
Our last audience question is, do people understand that social media is not real? And I'm interested to hear your perspective since you are a very an expert in social media, very well versed and experienced. So what do you think? Do people understand it?
Yes and no, because the people that are posting are the same ones complaining, right? So, prime example, I was in Puerto Vallarta a couple of weeks ago for my best friend's wedding.
Just international, traveling. No big.
Mexico is down the street. Okay. You cut through Brownsville, make a left. I don't know.
Stop sign.
I don't know. No, but we got a boat. There was 20 of us. We chipped in. We got a boat, which was very affordable. But I was on the IG stories, big pimp. Yes, I was.
Like a showboat.
Well, I snapped other people, so hopefully you got it, a couple of heads. But the thing is, one, that was my best friend's wedding. And we celebrated her love, her marriage, and we also had a good time on vacation, right? Two, that was my first vacation this year. Like, I work hard, so I'm about to do it for the gram, and I think people are not able to separate that. They see I don't know what they see, but they're like, oh, Michelle started an association, she's a networking queen, she's on a boat. Like,
well, that's what you showed them.
That is what I showed them. That is exactly what I showed them, right? And the thing is, I just wish more people would reach out to me via Messenger or in person and just be like, how did you get started? Okay. Or where are you at right now with your business, or whatever the case may be. And I don't even post that much on social media like I did before. And I don't post a lot of personal stuff on social media.
But if you don't post personal stuff, how can they get to know you personally?
And so a lot of people have been in my ass about that this year, right? But at the same time, I don't think it's a big deal. Like, I had dinner with my family at Benihana's. We took a picture. My mom was upset she didn't have her wig on. Like, we chilling at your crib recording this.
That's personal life. They want to see the ins and outs of Michelle.
They want to see me at Planet Fitness 6:00 in the morning, like cursing you out in my head because Justyn told me to get on the Stairmaster.
But you're going to like when your butt looks good. Hey. Next you're going to be like, Stairmaster down.
I'm like, I won this award. I want to thank Justyn. And I think, kind of go back to what I said the other day when I was in the event, like, I'm here to support you. And they're like, Michelle, you're being humble. Like, I just don't think those things are a big deal. And I remember talking to this one young lady. She was like, hey, so what you been up to? And I'm like, nothing. She's like, oh, you just finished a leadership program, right? I'm like completely. Like, I done moved on. And it's like, I don't know. And I also think, though, because I am surrounded by so many people doing great things, it's like I'm always in that supporting. Like, I'm always moving on to the next team to support people. And I don't always highlight that. But I don't know. It's social media is real, but you can't take everything at face value.
Right. I like the phrase about it's like social media is a highlight reel.
Right.
It's not the full spectrum of the story. Because,
man, let me tell you, there's been times where I've wanted to be, or I have been in my living room, balled up in the fetal position, like, who's the next client? There was a time where I paid my rent and I left the eviction notice on the door because it's like, Michelle, you can't get back to this point. Y'all want me to put that on Instagram?
That's the real, though.
Man, that's the real.
But we don't hear the real.
That's the
People
real.
see business, they're like, oh, it's glamorous, you get freedom.
That's the real, but then what's going to happen? Oh, that bitch can't pay her rent. She ain't got no clients.
Well.
You know how people, they're like, oh, Michelle, you speaking everywhere. Yeah, I've been speaking for free. I stopped speaking for free. You don't see me as much.
Which is what being in private practice in the business world for a while, for me, is what some of the things I didn't like, because it looked like to be successful in social media land, you really had to push that highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't feel authentic to me.
It's not.
And it was like, I don't like being in this space. And it almost feels really vain of like, almost like you're creating this illusion and pushing that social media, like, kind of filter on your life of like, oh, I'm always successful. I'm always happy. It's
a popularity contest.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the people that have the followers, the people that are making money, like they're popular, you know, and people keep buying into the machine of popularity. Because, prime example, people ask me all the time, how do I start a podcast? How do I write a book? I'm like, have you started writing? Well, you're going to skip the whole... Writing is the step. Writing is the book. You're going to skip... And then and that's why I created my 7 steps to creating a personal brand. Because it's like, this is work. And I'm like, oh, you be working. You goddamn right I be working. Yeah. Like,
it takes action. And people ask, I've heard people ask Ivery, of like, from mental health, like, how do you start a podcast? She'd be like, I don't know, just do it. She was like, I wanted to do it. I did a little research. And I did it.
And like, you got a voice recorder on your phone. I've done so many episodes on my phone. And they're like, oh. And the thing is, it's just people. The thing is, people don't want to do the work; they want to flaunt the work.
Yes.
Right? They
not really flaunt the work; they want to flaunt the accomplishment.
Right.
So they want to flaunt the Oscar, but not be in the film doing the work. Right. They think about the Oscar on the red carpet
before you get to the film, the pre-production.
They're not thinking about the audition. They're not thinking about the lines.
Put me in, coach.
The makeup. Right. Put me in, coach. Give me to the line.
I'm just going to drive up to Tyler Perry Studios and be in a show. What? What?
Yeah.
What have you done in Houston? Have you done any theater in Houston? No. You just
acting. Okay.
You're just going to drive to Tyler Perry?
Put me in here.
And put the black card? Yeah, he's going to have you in the corner sweeping.
That's what record you doing that, I guess.
Like, so it takes a lot of work. And I think social media, people just, like you said, they see the fruits of the labor. You know, they see me hosting the Marketing Association's monthly event, but they don't, I mean, how do I snap a picture when I'm struggling to get a board? You know, how do I snap a picture when I've written out the space hoping people will come out and no one shows up?
Those challenges.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem talking about them. I think I've always been honest about those things in interviews, but I don't know, it's above me.
It's above me now.
It's been beyond me, but social media is real, but you can't take it at face value. And my whole thing is just get to know people, like regardless of what their social media page is, especially if it's on the, personal or business, just take a moment and be like, hey, can we sit down for coffee? Hey, I would like to take you out. Because that one conversation can transform everything.
People need to do that more, because people always ask me, like, not even being from Houston, like, how do you know some people in Houston? Like, you're connected to people, you know, like, different people like work and stuff. I was like, I asked them, we went to lunch. Like, I sent a message on Facebook or email, like, hey, can we go to lunch? Can we go to coffee? And then over the last couple of years, doing that slowly, I just built a network. And then, like, I know
look at you
people
now.
in different arenas. And it's like, oh, yeah, I know them. Yeah, I know a little bit about them. Like, but you have to put yourself out there.
And that takes work. It takes work. It's crazy. Like, even I had coffee with this young brother earlier this week, and we met through a mutual friend online like 2 years ago. I didn't realize how much time went by. And he was just so appreciative. He's like, Michelle, I'm surprised you said yes. And I'm like, I ain't doing shit. Like, I'll be chilling. Like, I'll be at home, so why not have a conversation?
Most people want to tell their story. They want to tell you the ups and downs. They want to tell you, hey, get to know this person.
And the thing is, I learned from him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I learned from him. And then, like, literally the next day, because he told me about his wife, She was looking for work, and I just happened to come across something, and I sent him a link. I was like, let your wife look at this. Yeah. He's like, oh my God, Michelle, thank you. I'm going to give this to her. Thank you for having coffee with me again. And I'm like, it's nothing.
I didn't eat anyway. I was going to eat.
So, yeah.
All right.
I think that's enough. They know it. Y'all need to know anything else?
Like, what else is there to know about Michelle?
Listen, it's real out here in these streets.
Culture, sexuality, professional brand, personal brands. You out here. What you trying to be out here with a partner and 3 kids with names that start with L.
Hey. I think that
Lauren,
dream...
Lyndon, and...
Lynn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Lauren, Lynn, and...
Lyndon. I think that dream has passed. I think what I want people to know, it's like random shit. Okay, this is random shit. I believe sexuality is fluid. I believe sexuality is fluid if you allow it to be. That's men and women. I definitely want to date good women, which is a whole nother thing. I don't want to get too deep into that. But yeah, slide in those DMs. Give your applications to Justyn.
Don't give them to me.
Why not?
Because I have really high standards. So
they higher than mine?
I don't know they're higher than yours, but see, I won't have that. You know how like you'll make exceptions if somebody's real cute. You'd be like, you ain't quite really on point, but you cute, so I can go to lunch with you. Go see how that.
You do happens. That?
Well, before, but
would my crush meet your standards? Minus
your crush meet my standards? See, on paper, yes. Behavior, no.
We'll talk offline.
Because you know what Maya said? She said, when people show you who they are, believe them. So behavior, But that's harder when those feelings are involved. They real cute. It makes it tougher.
Okay. What else? I don't know. I think that was enough. If your mind ain't blown, I don't know what else to tell you. This is a one and done type thing. So with that, remember, personal connection. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Justyn. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to get the questions, get the people what they want to hear, and get to know you as Michelle the person.
The foolishness. The foolishness continues offline. Personal connection leads to an influential network. Thanks for networking with Michelle on a whole nother level.